Good morning. I'm Brooks Compton, Mayor of the City of Centerville, and we are here at Stubbs Park on Memorial Day to recognize a very important day for our country, Memorial Day 2020. I'm here today in honoring the service members of our country who have fallen in service to our country, but I have with us today some military members who have served our country honorably, courageously, and I'm going to just mention them by name and you'll have an opportunity to see them later. The commander of the VFW Post 9550, Richard Lauterbauer, who is a member of the U.S. Army. Senior Vice Commander, VF Post 9550, and he is Vice President Commissioner of the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission, Fred Rico Rojas, and he is a member of the U.S. Air Force. Nicholas Cooper, back in the red, who is a Marine. John Palcher, fellow council member, he refers to it as Department of the Army. Our Public Works Director, Pat Turnbull, is a veteran of the Navy. And we have with us today Colonel Kathy Platoni from the U.S. Army, and she participates throughout our community helping veterans come back to the United States. Kathy, we're very pleased that you're here today. I'd also like to mention that members of the City Council are here today, all of them. All members of the Township Trustees are present today with the Township Finance Director. The administrative staff of the City of Centerville is here, led by Mr. Wayne Davis, who is our City Manager, and staff from Washington Township is here, led by the Township Administrator, Jesse Lytle. We appreciate all of you being here today. The police officers are present today, and we have a special guest who our taps player is Charles Tarver from the Centerville Community Band, member of the Army, and our bagpiper today is Greg Martin. I want to mention before we get started, just briefly, how appreciative we are of MVCC, Carl and Richard being here today to broadcast this live on Facebook, and it's also going to be broadcast, the whole ceremony that you'll be able to see on MVCC. And I particularly want to thank Kate and Laura from the City of Centerville of organizing this special event. We're so glad to be able to continue it today. And finally, I want to mention that throughout the memorial here, the Veterans Memorial is surrounded by reliefs that are just absolutely outstanding. They were erected here in 2004. Obviously, this is the 17th year for them, and they represent all the branches of the military. And we have Virginia Hess and the VFW and the Veterans Memorial Committee for approving and putting up these reliefs. They're absolutely beautiful. So Virginia, thank you for doing that. I know you're not able to be here today, but we thank you for doing so. Just an ordinary person facing extraordinary circumstances, acting with courage, honor, and self-sacrifice. That's a hero. Who are they? They are the more than 400,000 that woke up on December 7, 1941, ready for just another day, who ultimately never returned home. They are the men who stormed the beaches of Normandy in southern France and Europe, and in the Pacific, the Philippines, Okinawa, Iwo Jima, and Guadalcanal. They are the men who unleashed the devastating air and naval attacks on the enemies of freedom across the globe, turning the tide in the Pacific with the defeat of the Imperial Japanese Navy in the Battle of Midway. They are the men who fulfilled General MacArthur's promise to return and retake the Philippines. And they are the men who crushed the Nazis in the Battle of the Bulge, bringing to an end the war 75 years ago this month in Europe. And they are the men and women who worked together to encourage and make possible the courageous decision by President Truman to end the war in the Pacific, saving millions of lives across the globe. Who are they? Those heroes are the 36,000 men and women who never returned home, who beat back and defeated and stopped a dangerous enemy of the United States and freedom in Korea. They're the 50,000 men and women who served honorably and courageously for the United States of America in the rice paddies, in the villages, and the cities of Vietnam who never returned home. They're the thousands of men and women who have taken down dictators in the deserts, religious fanatics and terrorists in the fields and mountains of Afghanistan, And those who wish to take our freedom away, they work in the dark alleys to make sure that they do not. Many of those have not returned home. As a young child, I asked my father, who was a World War II Navy veteran, if he had lost any friends in World War II. He told me that everyone lost friends in the war. It did not take me long to realize that every friend lost in the service to our country is in fact a hero. Those heroes are sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, fathers and mothers. There are neighbors. There are neighbors' brothers, co-workers, friends, all shapes, all sizes, all religions, all colors, from all across the nation, acting with courage, honor, and self-sacrifice in extraordinary circumstances. Heroes them all. These heroes may not be with us today in body, but they are not gone. They are with us when we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, sing our national anthem, join in singing America the Beautiful. We know the words and the meaning are all alive because of them. We feel their presence at those times. They are not gone. We feel their presence when we wake up each morning in a land that is free. They are not gone, and they are with us, and we know of their presence when we gather with our friends, our neighbors, in peace in the greatest nation the world has ever known because of them. These heroes did not get a chance to live to a ripe old age, and many did not see men land on the moon, a speech from President Kennedy or President Reagan, know what a computer is, or did they see the incredible advancements that have been made in medical technology since their passing. And many did not have an opportunity to raise a family or see their families grow up when they did not return home. Their lives were cut short, and their hopes and dreams were never realized, but they have given hundreds of millions of us the opportunity to live our dreams, to fulfill our hopes in the freedom that they preserved. On this Memorial Day, as we should every day, we should never forget their sacrifice. President Franklin Roosevelt said, "Those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy today forget in time that men have died to win them." We owe it to the heroes to make the most of the opportunities they preserved for us. Their spirit, their love of country lives within all of us. We feel their presence every day with the freedom they have brought and preserved for us. Today we bless the United States of America, the families of the fallen, and the heroes we honor not just today, but every day. We thank you for being here this morning, and I'd ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Sayre, Councilmember Bill Sayre will lead us in our national anthem.
Please join in the singing.
Thank you, Mr. Sayre. I'm honored to have with us Deputy Mayor Joanne Rao, who will read a poem recognition of Memorial Day.
Okay, this poem's titled In Your Honor, and the author is unknown. Unselfishly, you left your fathers and your mothers. You left behind your sisters and your brothers. Leaving your beloved children and wives, you put on hold your dreams, your lives. On foreign soil, you found yourself planted to fight for those whose freedom you granted. Without your sacrifice, their cause would be lost, but you carried onward, no matter the cost. Many horrors you had endured and seen, many faces had haunted your dreams. You cheered as your enemies littered the ground, and you cried as your brothers fell all around. When it was over, you came back home. Some were left with memories to face all alone. Some found themselves in the company of friends as their crosses cast shadows across the land. Those who survived were forever scarred, emotionally, physically, permanently marred. Those who did not now sleep eternally 'neath the ground, they had given their lives to keep free. With a hand upon my heart, I feel the pride and respect my reverence revealed in the tears that now stream down my upturned face as our flag waves about you in her glory and grace. Freedom was the gift you unselfishly gave. Pain and death was the price that you ultimately paid. Every day I give my utmost admiration to those who had fought to defend our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Detail, turn, cut! Raise it on!
You're going to the side here.
On!
I want to thank you all for being here today. It's an honor to celebrate Memorial Day and all the individuals who have sacrificed so greatly for our country. So I want to close with one statement President Woodrow Wilson made. The fallen do not need our praise nor our admiration to sustain their memory. There is no immortality that is safer than theirs. We come not for their sakes, but for our own, in order that we may drink at the same springs of inspiration and courage from which they themselves drank. President Woodrow Wilson. We thank you all for being here on this Memorial Day. We look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you.
Memorial Day is a sacred day. It's a time to honor the sacrifice of those who gave their lives on the battlefield for all of us. They left their families, their hometowns, and their friends in the name of service, never to see them again. Many of those heroes still remain in the faraway lands where they died liberating it. But their memory lives on with us today, here in America. Service to our country is part of who we are in Ohio. More than 800,000 Ohioans are veterans. And other patriots from our state have laid down their lives for our country over the years. We know that it's not just the men and women in uniform who sacrifice to protect our country, by the way. It's also their families who make a sacrifice. The parents, the spouses, the children of our military community give so much in support of their loved ones' duties to the nation. We especially pay tribute today to our Gold Star families. We're so proud to be the home of so many heroes. America's fight for liberty is a noble fight, and those we commemorate on Memorial Day did not die in vain. We have to honor their legacy by continuing that fight near and far. We still live in dangerous times, and just as the men and women who served this country throughout our history have made our freedom possible, our future will depend upon each new generation continuing to step forward and continuing to serve. We've never had freedom without bravery, and we never will. Our national anthem proudly proclaims that we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. We could not have one without the other. For all the men and women who have given their lives to serve our country and to their family, we give thanks. We will never forget them, and we will never forget their sacrifice.
Hi, I'm Sherrod Brown, your United States Senator. It's an honor to represent you and all Ohioans. This Memorial Day, I especially want to thank all who have served our country as we pay tribute to the members of our military throughout our history who laid down their lives to keep us safe. This year's Memorial Day celebration, of course, will not look like other years, but that doesn't make it any less important than any other year. Thank you to everyone organizing these events for taking the additional steps to make these virtual ceremonies a reality. Thank you for all you do for the families who sacrifice alongside our service members, yet who don't often get the recognition that they deserve. Special thank you to the Ohio National Guard, who even through this pandemic has been ready to help Ohioans across the state. Many National Guards people I saw at food banks helping distribute food to hungry people throughout our state. They've helped distribute it to people who need it. They've accepted donations for critical medical supplies and setting up emergency bed spaces, doing everything they can to keep all of us safe. It reminds us that we owe our veterans more than just our gratitude. Saying thank you isn't enough. We must provide them with the benefits that they've earned. That means health care, it means consumer protections, it means educational opportunities. I've been a member of the Senate Veterans Committee longer than any senator in Ohio history for the 13 years I've been in the Senate. I take that duty very seriously. Please don't hesitate to contact my office if there's anything I can do to help you as veterans, to help you as family members of veterans. On behalf of a grateful state, thank you for all that you've done to preserve and protect our great country. God bless the United States.